Shirin is also a mother of four. She has four boys, and she's very, very powerful. Yeah, I would like her to share her story. Yeah. So Shirin, please take it away.
Okay, thank you, Yan, for inviting me to share my story today. And thank you, Kelly. That was one hell of an amazing story. Every birth, yeah, like you say, every individual, every mom's birth story is so different, and it should be shared. So okay. So for me, I am from Malaysia. Now living in Singapore. So I have four children, four boys. So initially, when I was first pregnant, I think like all moms who are a first time mom, we're quite um I read up some stuff, but we're still like, okay, ignorance is sort of bliss before the event starts. So I tried my best to be prepared, but I have no idea what's going to happen. No idea what the hospital and doctor and the medical industry is like. So basically, like what Kelly said, it's the system. That's how it's been done. You just kind of follow it. You have a little bit of a idea of what you want to happen, but it's not not really possible at that time. So when we chose a hospital that was new, and so happened that the floor was empty, uh, and so I had quite a lot of attention from the doctors. Okay. And so my labor started early in the morning. We the normal symptoms that we're expecting, and then we went to the hospital quite early in the morning. About 5 a.m. the contraction starts, so 6 a.m. I'm there already because the hospital was empty and they were happy to have me there. So very nervous, okay, and it wasn't the pain was not what I expected. So it was like what we envision, or what is normal to feel pain, and to see that, to feel that all happening was like, okay, like Kelly said, I totally lost control after a while, and then I just give me the painkillers, give me the laughing gas and everything. So it was all like I wasn't in control. I was all in a blur, and it was just get the baby out now, please. I can't do it anymore. And so there was a lot of drugs and everything involved, even though in the end was sort of a natural birth. I had a bit of vacuum assisted. It was vacuum assisted in the end, but it was considered sort of a natural birth. So because I delivered through the vagina and not cesarean, so that stayed with me that, oh wow, this is what birth is. And second one, I tried to do better, so I didn't have the laughing gas, so I was sort of a bit more control. I did a bit of yoga, breathing, so it was slightly better, but was still extremely painful. It was shorter hours. First birth was like 16 hours. Second was like 4 hours, shorter hours. I did a little better, but pain was still intense. I couldn't push. I was still very weak. I couldn't eat and anything. So, and that was the second one. And the third one, it followed suit about the same, 3 to 4 hours, but pain was still intense. Then after that, I was just chatting with my friend. Then she said, "Oh, there's nothing natural about giving birth naturally." I'm like, I was like, why is it so like not natural? It's so difficult. Is it meant to be this way? So when I had the fourth one, actually because of this birth experience, I was terrified to give birth again. Then I got pregnant. I'm like, okay, here we go again. So I was happy. I love children. I would have more if I didn't have terrible birth experience. But So when I was pregnant with the fourth one, as it go closer to the date I was expected to deliver, I started panicking because I said I didn't want to go through the same thing again. No, you know, God, please show me a way that, I don't believe that birth should be this way. It should be happy and peaceful. That's not how we should bring children into the world, and a traumatic experience for both mom and kids and all that. So I met a friend who told me she had a peaceful birth, and all she did was just she read this book called HypnoBirthing by Mary Morgan, and then she managed. So I was like, oh, is that possible? Okay, so she said basically she managed the birth herself, and she didn't have any coaching or anything, and she delivered very peacefully and quickly. So I'm like, okay, let me explore. So I couldn't get the book, so I just went on Facebook and searched who has this book, and then within a few days, a few hours, a lot of friends actually messaged me and they said, oh, I have it, okay, I can pass it to you. So I got the book at about 34 weeks, and I started reading. I'm like so amazed, but I had that trauma from the previous birth, so I wasn't confident that I could do it by myself. So I looked up Yen, and I'm like, okay, we're going to go for the course. And even though it's my fourth time, people are like, oh, fourth time you must be experienced, you should be able to give birth like this. I'm like, no, I have so much of baggage with me. I was so afraid, and I was having anxiety. I couldn't really sleep properly. I had nightmares closer to birth. I'm like, I need to do this right this time. So I went for the course, and it was like I'm first time mom again. Almost everything was like brand new knowledge to me. And when I first read the book, I think what struck me was, we are mammals, okay, and mammals, like the cat, you don't need to assist the cat to give birth. If you go anywhere near, the cat will just run away and find a little corner that's safe and dark and peaceful, and no one's disturbing, and the cat would give birth by itself. So I mean, we are, and that what struck me was Mary Morgan said, we are mammals, we are humans, we are supposed to be able to give birth by ourselves, and our body naturally knows what to do. So that empowered me a lot, so to trust yourself that you can do it. So this time I had control of my birth, and also my husband's attended Yen's course with me, so he was very supportive, and both of us are on the same page, and he supported me all the way. Yeah, and so that was really helpful. And knowing that feelings of happiness is a natural endorphin and natural pain relief, so called. So he being there, and with every surge, he was there holding me, and we're listening to happy music. It was like a date, the best date with my husband. In there, we requested the lights to be dim, to be left alone. So we played our music. I had my favorite pillow with me, so it was like we created our own space. Basically, it was so comfortable. It was so happy, and we could and I turned off all the sounds that was bothering me, because usually if you go in to labor, you would hear that baby heartbeat sound, boom, 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 and that was actually traumatizing to me, because that reminds me of my first three birth. The heartbeat sound was so loud, and every time that reminds me of the pain I had. So I asked the nurse to turn that off, and basically I was in control. And also important to find a hospital that supports your birth plan, and a doctor who supports that too. So so back to my birth story. So for the fourth one, I actually after I had a doctor in Singapore. I've never given birth in Singapore. The first three birth was in Malaysia. Okay. It was all vacuum, sort of natural vaginal birth, but not natural because I had drugs and I was induced and all that, which is not necessarily. My birth wasn't prolonged. My my cervix was opening at a regular basis. I don't know why I was injected. I wasn't informed that I was going to be induced even. So basically, I was in the hands of the doctor. They did whatever they need to do. I'm not sure why, but I think mothers should be informed or told that this is happening and stuff. Like, I don't know about overseas, you probably need to agree or sign certain things to it, but here I think it's very it depends. I'm not sure it's Singapore is compulsory, but Malaysia, I just had no idea what's happening. It was just done to me. So in Singapore, I was looking for a gynae. I didn't know who to go to, so I went to a friend recommended one, and he was very friendly and was friendly and supportive on generally. But when I showed him my birth plan, there were a couple of things that couldn't be done because of hospital policies. Like, I couldn't have wireless monitor. What do you call that? That machine that monitors the heartbeat in the baby. Couldn't have that, and that would mean that I would have to be on the bed, or my movement is restricted. I told him I didn't want that. I want to move around. I wanted to go to the toilet myself. I wanted to change position whenever I like. So even that one small thing, I wasn't very comfortable. So, and with eating also, you can't eat in the hospital. Yeah, so they didn't allow eating and all that in case you have to be called for emergency cesarean and all that. So at the last week before I was due, I changed the doctor, and I only saw the last doctor once, and then 4 days later I was in labor. So basically the doctor was very supportive of everything that was on my birth plan, and the hospital also was very flexible in a way, and they supported it, and she signed off my birth plan, and everyone's happy. And the moment I entered the hospital on the day of delivery, the nurses there went through my birth plan, and they were very serious about my birth plan. They wrote it, they read it, and they double checked with me everything before they arranged everything for me. So that was very supportive and very helpful. So on the day of the birth, I woke up 5 a.m. My water, I didn't, not water break, it was a release of water on my bed. And then that was the first sign of labor, and then the surges came, and it was very peaceful. Like, I was happy to welcome the surges. And when every time the surges, or usually you call it contractions, contraction has a negative notion to it, which sometimes means pain is coming, but surges is very natural, and was happy, that it was coming. And if you let your body go and you just trust the process, and you trust yourself that your body knows what to do, and visualization and a lot of relaxation technique that was introduced in Mary Morgan's method of birthing. So I was listening to the what do you call that?
The affirmations.
Confirmations, yes, confirmations. And yes, I was listening to it like for about 2 months before that. So and doing all the relaxation. So I listened the whole day when I was about to go to labor. So that induced that relaxation and the trust in yourself to affirm yourself that, I can give birth peacefully, I can relax, and, I'm empowered to do so. So that helped a lot. So we took our time. I had a nice big breakfast, and we took our time and relaxed. And my husband was happy. We were happy. And then, when the surgeons were closer in time, we we took our time and drove to the hospital, get ourselves checked in, everything. It's like checking in the hotel. I'm going for my holiday. We're going for our big date. So everything was great. We requested that not to be checked too frequently. They could see the monitoring of the contractions, the surges, and the heartbeat of the baby remotely from the outside of the room. So we were left, me and my husband, on our own, and up to about after about I checked in at 10 o'clock. Up to about 12 plus, I was a little bit sweating and all that. So the time, maybe I'm hungry now. I said, can you go get some food for me? So he went and got me some food, and then after I had some porridge, rice porridge, I was like energized, and then it was time. I was fully dilated, and we called the nurse, and then the nurse came in. Why didn't you call me earlier? Your surgeries were like so intense. I said, oh, I see. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel any pain. It was tightening sensation on my tummy, and that's about it. It gets intense lah, but if you relax and all that and allow the muscles to the womb to do its job, to expand, the pelvic expands and everything, it's not painful. If don't go against that will. If you tighten up and if you are in fear, that's you are in a fight or fright mode, and that's how you are going against the natural flow of the body. The body wants to expand, you are in fear and you tighten, and that's where the pain comes. Okay, so I after about the first 3 birth, even though I'm fully dilated at that point, I couldn't push. I took an hour or so to push the baby until I was like so weak and actually even requested, please cut me open, have cesarean and take the baby out. I was so weak, I couldn't push. It just went halfway and then went back in, went halfway and went back in. It was so tiring. And then so I was convinced that maybe my pelvic was too small, or the baby's head was too big, and or the baby was in the wrong position and didn't come out. So for the 4th one, I make sure that I find out everything to help to put the baby in the best position, rotating your pelvic in a certain position, and going on all fours and allowing the baby some freedom to move into the right position and all that. So that's what I did. So anything I missed out? So after 10 a.m. I got into hospital. 2 p.m. the baby was with only 3 push, the baby was out. And naturally I didn't have coaching to, yes, you can do it, push now. No, I didn't have all the coaching. I requested not to have. So it was just a peaceful, and I visualized and I practiced what I learned from HypnoBirthing, and it was what I envisioned, like it happened. So it was very fulfilling. It was also a great bonding session for me and my husband and the baby. And I was fully awake, and I was full of energy after I gave birth. I was fully awake first time, because the first pre-birth, after I gave birth, I actually blacked out. I didn't know what's happening for like a good 10 or 15 minutes. I couldn't remember that the baby was on my chest and we had that skin to skin, but I couldn't remember. I was just not there. So the 4th one, I was fully awake. I was full of energy. I was so happy that I did it. It was so fulfilling. So it was a very, very spiritual moment for me. And I connected with baby, and we had and fed the baby immediately. And I recovered pretty quickly, because I didn't stress my body out with drugs and medication or anything. So it was this time, the last one was fully natural, without vacuum and without any unnecessary intervention. So yeah, it was a healing birth for me. Yeah, that's all from me. If there's any question from you or something that I missed out.
Thank you, Shirin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a turning point, right? Every challenge is a turning point for you. And this
Yes,
time you
yes.
are very much connected with your husband at least. Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
Chris is more aware. Mm.
Yeah.
What will be your message to the audience, to mothers out there, whether they're expecting or not, for their future
Mm.
child?
I think trust that, we as mothers, we know how to give birth naturally. Our body knows what to do. So
Mm.
do your research and find out, don't just believe what is normal in the public's eyes, in the society, means is the only way or the best way to do it. Find out for yourself. Really learn. I would highly recommend just reading the Mary Morgan book and find out what hypnobirthing is. Hypnobirthing
Mm.
is not like, trying to hypnotize you and all that. Basically, it's just reassuring ourselves that and empowering ourselves that we as humans, we as I am a woman and I can give birth naturally by myself. Yeah, it's very empowering.
Yeah. Thank you. Return the
Yes.
confidence to mother to give birth naturally, and
Yes.
that's what we want. The right kind of information, right?
Yes. Yes.
Wow, wow, so powerful.